It's the first week of winter here, and if you looked outside, you might not immediately know it. We don't get snow where we live. We might see frost a handful of mornings each year, but that's honestly about it. Some winter days are still bright and mild. The trees don't all lose their leaves at once, and yet winter arrives all the same. Not because the weather tells us, but because something begins to shift. The light changes, the pace changes, and if we're paying attention, we change too. I think winter often gets treated as a season we simply endure until spring arrives. The cold season. The dark season. The season we count down until it's over. But every year I find myself looking forward to parts of it. Not because winter is always dramatic, and not because every day feels cozy, but because every season carries something unique. Something that becomes possible because of the season we're in. And winter's gifts tend to arrive a little more quietly. This week I've been slowly bringing a few signs of winter into our home. Nothing elaborate, just little reminders that a new season is beginning. A winter board filled with memories from seasons gone by, pine cones gathered from walks, a few woodland friends finding their places again, things that help us notice what is already happening around us. Not because we need more things to do, but because noticing has a way of helping us settle into where we are. One of the things I've learned through living seasonally is that seasonal change isn't always happening outside of us. Sometimes it's happening within us, especially in places where the weather doesn't dramatically announce the arrival of a new season. I notice it in the foods I've begun craving, the meals that feel comforting and nourishing, the candles we start lighting earlier in the evening, the books I find myself reaching for. The way home begins to feel especially appealing. The way I naturally want to spend less time rushing and more time gathering. Not because anyone told me to. And not because I'm trying to create some perfect seasonal lifestyle. But because something inside me is responding to the season I'm in. And that's really what I've been thinking about this week. What do we actually look forward to in winter? For us, it's not one big thing. It's all the small things. Warm soup simmering on the stove, longer evenings at home, storytelling, slow mornings, rain on the roof, watching the world outside while being tucked safely inside. The familiar rhythms that return each year. The things that only seem to belong to winter. Every season offers something. Summer offers one set of gifts, autumn another, and spring another still. And winter has its own treasures too. Sometimes we just have to slow down enough to notice them. This winter, our little seasonal story takes us into the woodland. Among the pine cones and mushrooms, the owls and the acorns, the quiet places beneath the trees. And my favourite character this season is probably the rabbit, tucked away safely inside his little burrow. Because when I think about winter, I don't think about hiding away from life. I think about drawing closer to it. The rabbit isn't disappearing. He's simply returning to what sustains him. Returning home. Returning to shelter. Returning to what matters. And perhaps that's part of winter's invitation for us too. I don't think winter is asking us to do less. I think winter is asking us to gather closer. Closer to home, closer to our family, closer to the practices and rhythms that support us, closer to the stories we want to tell, closer to the life we're already living. The woodland doesn't stop in winter. The owl remains watchful, the rabbit settles into the burrow, the acorns wait quietly beneath the leaves. Everything simply responds to the season it's in, without resistance, without rushing ahead, without wishing it were something else. And I think there's something beautiful in that. Every season carries its own gifts. Winter's gifts just tend to arrive more quietly. And perhaps that's why I look forward to it. Not because it's perfect, not because it's easy, but because it invites something different, something slower, something gentler, something a little closer. And if you're longing for a season that feels more intentional too, that's exactly why I create the seasonal rhythm guides. Not to give us more to do, but to help us notice what each season is already inviting us into. I've linked them below if you'd like to explore them. And wherever you are in the world, whether you're welcoming winter, enjoying summer, or somewhere in between, I hope this week reminds you that every season has something worth looking forward to. Sometimes we just need to notice it. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week, friends.